The Northland Project will move forward. The City Council approved their amended special permit request 19-4 to allow changes to the project by lowering the amount of commercial space built and adding more housing to bring the total to over 800 new apartments, with approximately 145 as affordable units. The biggest factor for the 4 no votes was the amount of traffic that will increase on Needham Street.
Councilor Block, you chartered the item last time, so I'm going to recognize you first, and then we'll take it up with anyone else who wishes to speak. And then I expect we're going to vote the item this evening. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've been advised by the Law Department that the only item before us is the changes from Northland's approved special permit to the proposed new plan. So what are these changes? Northland proposes to eliminate buildings 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14, reduce the size of buildings 5 and 8, and change the use of building 1 from commercial to residential. Thus, 8 out of 14 buildings, or 57%, are eliminated or significantly modified. Out of 1,350 approved parking stalls, 387 underground stalls are being removed and 124 surface stalls are being added. Thus, 511 or 38% of the parking stalls are being removed or their location altered. I hope we can agree that these amount to substantial modifications of the approved plan. Is it possible to make the required determinations by only considering these changes, or is it more logical to make the determinations by considering the plan in its entirety? Although these changes come to us in the form of an amendment to the approved special permit, in my opinion, they add up to a completely new plan. I personally believe this is the only way we can fulfill our quasi-judicial role. A development of this size is bound to have major impact on traffic. Let's take a look at the traffic presented by VHB on the Needham and Oak Street intersection, the intersection most heavily impacted by Northland's plan. The displayed slide somewhere up there, and everyone should have this on their desk. The displayed side is from table 14 on page 53 of VHB's report. The bottom portion of the chart pertains to the weekday evening peak time. The total line indicates that the current condition is a D level of service. The far right column shows that the proposed plan will result in an F level of service. If we use the average total delay metric as an indicator of how much worse Needham Street will get, the current rating is 45. The projected rating is 100. In short, VHB's data is telling us that traffic on Needham Street will be twice as bad than it is currently. I don't go to Needham Street very often, but last Saturday at noon, I happened to be on Needham Street traveling north from the Needham and Oak intersection. The oncoming traffic was breathtaking. With only a few minor breaks, the queue heading south was backed up all the way to the Winchester-Dedham Street intersection. If we approve Northland's new plan, I believe that traffic on Needham Street at the peak weekday evening time will become a slow-moving parking lot. This could risk the viability of many of the businesses on Needham Street. This kind of traffic jam will, in my opinion, have a significant negative impact on the neighborhood. It is.
Councilor Block, you're out of time. How much more?
How about 2 minutes?
Request for additional 2 minutes for Councilor Block. All in favor, please say aye. Aye, opposed. Go ahead, please, Councilor Block.
It is true that one can argue that the level of service of the new plan is better than the old one. The approved plan has a delay metric of 105, while the new plan is 100. However, both are still an F level of service, and both are, in my opinion, unacceptable. The next slide that's going to be displayed up there and that you have on your desk is a queue diagram showing how far queues go at the 50th percentile and 95th percentile at the Needham and Oak intersection. You can find this on page 353 of the VHB report appendix. These maps are important because they show if side streets and curb cuts are blocked by the queues. Unfortunately, these queue diagrams don't show where vehicles will enter and exit the site based on the new site plan. Even better maps, however, will get you only so far. What is really needed for a project of this complexity is a video simulation of how traffic will flow on Needham Street and how vehicles will enter and exit the development. Either the Planning Department or the Land Use Committee could have required Northland to undertake such an analysis. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Let me close by saying that we cannot overrule the City Council that approved Northland's plan in 2019. But we can say to Northland, this plan that you are presenting to us will place an intolerable burden on Needham Street and will therefore have a substantial negative impact on the neighborhood. For that reason, I will be voting no on this item.